recently I took, like last month, I took a month worth of my divorces and I added up the consumer credit card debts and personal loans, like anything that wasn't attached to something, right?
Okay.
And I was shocked to find out that it's between the average debt in the divorce that I'm doing divorces is about 70 grand.
Wow.
Yeah, which it's growing. And so sometimes one party will go, but our lifestyle said we have this, this, and this.
Because you've been putting it on credit cards.
I have to go over and go, but look here. And because this is here, it's got to come out of somewhere. If you have a house, generally it's coming off the equity to balance it off. You know, you can be creative with that too. But that's, you know, money is a big reason in divorce.
Yeah, I hate to elaborate more on that because I think people just don't want to hear that.
Yeah.
You know, but unfortunately it is. I think people that don't have, you know, in our business, we call it, you know, having your financial house in order, right? Being organized, knowing where your money is, what it's doing, where it's going, what it's for, right? Giving money a job. It's understanding it's a tool, right? It's not a possession. It's just a tool, right? So money is not good or bad. It's just neutral, right? It's an amplifier though. So if you have good admirable intentions, more money helps you do more admirable things. And if you have, you know, bad intentions, more money will help you do more bad things.
Exactly.
Right. But when you are not in alignment with your spouse, you don't have a plan, and, you know, money's going out the door. It's so easy to start becoming a problem. I know my wife and we personally have talked about in the past. There's, I think she learned about it in a college class. She's at BYU. And it talked about like the consumer, right? It's this theory of you're one purchase away from happiness. And that's how you end up with 70,000 in credit card debt, right? Things are already not going well. And, you know, things compound, right? Money's not the only thing that compounds, right? So, you know, one purchase away from happiness didn't quite scratch the itch, you know, so 2 more, then 3 more, then 5 more, then 10 more, then 15 more. And it adds up. And meanwhile, you know, there's this brewing tension under the surface so often of like, you know, again, it comes back to the goals. You have one spouse that is, you know, maybe trying to work towards a specific goal. Maybe it's retirement, right? And you have one spouse that says, well, you know, you don't pay attention to me, or, you know, I don't care about retirement someday or whatever. And they're just not in alignment. And neither of those things are good, bad, right, or wrong. They just are, right? And the disconnect isn't that one person had a more admirable goal or intention. It's that they weren't in alignment.
Exactly.
Right. And that's where the issues come from. I remember actually when I got married, a really good friend of mine, his dad gave me a book, and he had gone through some, you know, significant marital troubles with his wife, and they spent years going through counseling and like save the marriage. It's a really cool story. And they started out, you know, deep in the hole and, you know, ready to get divorced. And they had all this credit card debt and all this stuff. And they worked on it in counseling, and they followed Dave Ramsey's plan, which I'm not a Dave Ramsey, you know, lifer over here. I don't think it's for everyone, but in this situation, it worked really well for him. Right.
Okay.
And, they were able to come into alignment because they got on the Dave Ramsey plan kind of together, did it together, and was a big piece in saving their marriage. Right. So he gave me, a copy of Dave Ramsey's book at my wedding. That was his wedding gift to us. And he said, you know, I'd just love for you guys to read this. And, like for what it's worth, right? It really helped keep my marriage together. You know, hopefully you don't make the mistakes that we did, and you don't have to go through all that stuff, but whatever. He said, just remember that, you never fight about money. You fight about debt.
Right.
And I'll never forget that. He said, it's never about money. It's always about debt.
Yep.
His point was like, everything's fine. You got a new TV and, you're watching the TV and it breaks. Well, it sucks. He says like, but where the fight comes in is when it's, I knew we should have never bought that TV. And, and so he says, well, you told me you wanted it and I didn't never want it, but now we still have, 18 more payments to make on it.
Right.
And it's like, that's where the real fight comes in.
Absolutely.
And once you turn on the line of credits, it's really hard to turn the line of credits off.
Right.
Right. So now it's just, well, we already got it once on payments. Let's go get another one on payments. And it starts a compound. And it's because, again, you're just not in alignment. So,
right.
I think for people, I will plug that for people that if you do feel like you're behind the 8 ball a little bit and you're not to the point where, divorce is going to happen, but it's starting to be concerning. Try to bring yourselves into alignment on the financial piece. And, Dave Ramsey is not a bad place if you're starting way in the, you're starting in the hole and you just need to get on the same page. That's good baby steps.
It is a plan.
Look, everything Dave Ramsey says is not the greatest advice, especially long-term. But there's some value in that. That's one of the books I do like to give to people. There's a couple books. I give out Total Money Makeover by Dave Ramsey quite a bit and Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki.
Oh yeah. I like that one.
2 different books, two different people
theories.
told. Right. Well, and for different people at different stages of life. Right.
Right.
Ready for different things. Anyways, totally off topic on that.
So one of the things like with finances and trying to build into a future life, I'm remarried. We have 8 kids, 13 years. And, rebuilding, it can be incredibly difficult.
Sure.
And the one thing as I've done divorces that kind of surprises me that I would tell everybody, go get on the same page financially for sure. There are a lot of marriages where one party or the other, they have no idea where the mortgage payment is paid. They don't know what groceries cost.
I don't know that that's wrong. I'm not going to say that is a bad thing. And let me tell you why.
Okay.
I don't know what the groceries cost. I don't. And my wife probably doesn't know where the mortgage is at,
Then put a letter somewhere.
However, I don't need a letter on how much the groceries cost, but, look, we have our state documents in place. So if something happens to me, it's not that she wouldn't be able to find it or know. And it's not that I keep it from her, but it's that it's part of our alignment, right? Is that she doesn't have to worry about some things and some things I don't have to worry about, right? And it's because we come together as a team in that way. And we have the trust in each other that she's taking care of things on the home front. I'm taking care of things on the financial front a lot of times.
Right.
And so it's just like when you're running a business, if you're the guy running operations in a manufacturing plant, you can't be concerning yourself with what the accounting department is doing, right? And the accounting department, to a certain degree, they have to trust that you're, running the warehouse correctly, that you're driving the forklift at the correct speed or whatever. There has to be trust in order to run the synergy. Now, that doesn't mean that you shouldn't know what's going on to a certain degree. And that doesn't mean that there should never be communication. But if part of your alignment is having trust that things over here are taken care of and things over here are taken together, and together the family is being taken care of as a whole, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
I would agree with you. I would just say, look at your marriage as though it's a corporation, right? It's a joinder.
Sure.
And both of you are equal presidents or CEOs. Some form of transparency in that, because if you all of a sudden are across the desk from me, and this happens quite a bit, we pull up that that spreadsheet. I work off a spreadsheet. This is a little bit, we do things a little bit different than normal mediators in this way. I have a spreadsheet. It's all lined out. They've all turned their debts and assets in. We collect massive homework before they ever get to me. I'll pull up that debt page and, you know, if your partner is 1,000% shocked and their name is on half of that,
yeah,
we probably have had a systemic problem for quite some time.